first with AuditLA.
Good morning, everyone. I'll take it off. Sure. Is that better? Okay, thank you. It's, we're here for the same old, I told you my rights were violated severely on Easter Sunday. The permits do not prevent pedestrians from walking through, yet I have on video evidence where I was prevented and the police had to come and tell them that they cannot prevent me. So the city, and no offense to you guys, but because the city keeps allowing this abuse to continue, after this is, I don't know how many civil rights violations there's been, you're leaving the city open to a lawsuit. And I know the city attorney doesn't like that, and you shouldn't like it, because it has to stop. They need to stop giving them permits until they have proven a track record of being accountable and doing it by the law, but they never do. As soon as the police told them they had to open it up, they left, they closed it again to the next people.
Thank you. We'll go next to personality tests.
Okay, so this is the general. Okay. So, everybody, I am here like probably 5-10 times already. I want everybody to take a moment to take a look at this wheelchair right here. Do you notice any differences? I spoke 5-10 times already. You already know what I'm going to stop. What I'm going to talk about that. Her wheelchair, this one is like $60 per day. And then ask yourself, how many people like her can afford this wheelchair, $60 per day, pending repair, pending medical insurance authorization? Because if she continue to use her wheelchair on the bumpy street, on the street condition that is unsafe for a wheelchair user, I just don't know. She is lucky enough. She has a whole bunch of friends to help her. But I just want to ask you that how many people in LA that can afford a $60 wheelchair per day?
All right, Mr. Knight, you can go to the virtual platform.
Very well. We will start with Jill.
Okay, I'm going to continue what I said last week. You need to say no to cults. You need to say no to child trafficking cover-ups. This is about the cult of Scientology. You need to say no to street vacations. You need to say no to the permits. Because there was something in an email stating that the only reason why they put the planters up was to keep protesters away that are trying to expose the atrocities and the crimes against humanity that really should require tribunals for crimes against humanity. Like there was that judgment at Nuremberg. If you watch the movie, maybe there'll be a movie made like that judgment on L. Ron Hubbard Way or L. Ron Holocaust Way, because you guys are going to be in a big heap of trouble once this stuff comes out to light and there's raids and everything is being exposed, and then you were part of that whole system of cover-up. Bye.
We'll move next to Georgina.
Great job.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm calling because I'm concerned about the incessant permit abuses on L. Ron Hubbard Way. To have that street blocked off should never happen to begin with, because it's a direct access route to two major hospitals, Kaiser and Children's Hospital, and it's not been made accessible to the neighborhood at all. It should be opened up for parking, should have metered parking in there, but there are incessant abuses of the permits. They don't display the permits, then they show the police the permit request, which is very different terms than the actual permit. They restrict the public, they restrict neighborhood access, and it's incessant loud music being played, the same song over and over and over and over again, and it's been abused for far too long. It needs to be addressed. Thank you.
And we'll move next to Gigi.
Great job.
Okay, so today I want to talk about the planters. The over 250 planters that were there for several months. And L. Ron Hubbard Way, Fountain, they were like everywhere. And you guys heard from us over and over all the complaints about them, the violations, the ADA violations. And still to this day, I believe that Scientology has not been held accountable for those planners and all those violations. And I'm wondering what's going on with that. Don't forget about those planters, because I'm going to keep talking about those planters until there's some accountability taken and they have to pay those fines. They have to give the city money for what they did wrong. So if I have to keep talking about it for, another 6 months, another year, I'm going to keep talking about those planners. There has to be some accountability for it. It's ridiculous that they were there for several months, and it wasn't even on their property. How did you allow them to abandon their property on the public easement? The public easement, not even around their building.
Thank you.
Away from them.
Great job.
We'll move next to Haggis. Go ahead.
Thank you. Last week, you had a bunch of youth come in, working on projects for the oceans and stuff, and cleanups. And I've heard you talk to the youth of the water programs and all the rest of it. It's fantastic. If you stop letting Kirsten Peterson, who's in charge of the Office of Special Affairs for Scientology, penetrate your entity as the Board of Public Works, you could get all the fines from Scientology. Your little flipboards that say City of LA, the only City of LA, those are $35 a day. They have about 30 of them. If you take the fines for those at $35 a day for at least the last year I've been keeping an eye on them, that's over $150,000 that you could put towards those wonderful programs that encourage the youth of the city to actually participate. So that's my concern, that Kirsten Peterson, head of the internal spy network for Scientology, has a hand in the report.
60 seconds. And Mr. President, we do have 4 additional hands raised on the virtual platform. We have approximately 3 minutes left on the clock. If you'd like, I can ask if the 4 additional hands raised would like to offer public comment or commentary on any of our agenda items this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Very well. We'll start with Lurker. Would you like to offer a public comment this morning?
Yes, I would. Please and thank you.
Go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Sweet. Hey, this is just all getting so cumbersome. It goes on and on and on. How is this happening? Are we not in a, futuristic world? Are we living in the Stone Ages? This corrupt organization needs to be put to a stop. At least slow it down. They're taking our youth. They're abusing the elderly. Please, quit ignoring it. And maybe you're not. Maybe your hands are just tied with real tight money loads. I'm not sure. But you are. You know what you do when you leave this room. You are God's creatures, and so are we. I thank you for your hard work and your consideration in all.
And that's 60 seconds. We'll move next to iPhone 98. Would you like to offer a public comment this morning?
Hi, yes.
Go ahead.
So I was a child born and raised in the cult of Scientology, and as a slave child being made to do that kind of work and cover-ups, and later on in my teen years doing the same, backing up paperwork and stuff like that, where they would allow these fake permits or permits on L. Ron Hubbard Way. They did the same thing in Clearwater, but here in L. Ron Hubbard Way, I lived in this neighborhood. I was born in Hollywood, obviously trafficked through Scientology, but the permits and everything used in my neighborhood should be able, that Scientology gets every day, should be able to be used by anybody in the neighborhood. I should be able to get a permit on L. Ron Hubbard Way for Father's Day and have the whole neighborhood be a part of it. There needs to be bias. for the people that were born and raised in this cult to be allowed to also have voice and have their permits and do their shows. I'm Laura Anderson.
And
You
that's
can look me up.
We'll move next to Carla. I see your hand is raised. Would you like to offer public comment this morning, Carla?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. Hello, as you know, during Easter Sunday, Elmore Harvard Way was closed and they asked for a permit to close the street. The permit specifically said that both sidewalks should be open. And AuditLA, as you see her there, you could talk with her after the meeting. She has clear evidence that none of that was, compliant. They did not let her pass. As you guys know, there were security guards with weapons, with arms, with firearms next to children. There was no plates. If there was an emergency, there was no emergency precautions of any sort. Too many children and disabled people being mistreated. We saw people being harassed. It was heartbreaking, and I do not understand if you have the authority to follow up
And that's
who is receiving.
Do you see an additional hand raised? However, that last comment completes the 10-minute block of public comment. President Corson.
All right, with that, we will close the general public comment portion for today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items you will be speaking upon when you are called. We'll start first with AuditLA.
Hello again. I'm going to be speaking on all items. We're going to start with, number 13. And all the ones with bid numbers and approved budgets, I just want to be a reminder that it's always the same thing. Not always, I shouldn't say always, but often, they come in with the lowest bid and then they come back to the trial asking for more money. I feel like there's almost like a game that some of these people play with. Well, just get the lowest bid in because, the board's always going to approve everything that comes before it. And that's the case. I mean, you may get a no vote here and there, but nothing ever gets rejected. At least not that I've ever seen in a year. And so there's no real incentive for them to be honest and upfront and get a true low bid. And, but we also told you, like with the money, all this money going out, how you don't collect the fees, fines and fees out there, whether it be the fines from Church of Scientology or, for all their ADA violations, or I've seen enough here too, where you've forgiven like a massive amounts of fines. And why? I mean, that just puts the burden on the public to make up the budget deficit, with increased taxes, increased fees, not fines, and stuff like that. So I think that you guys could do a better job at getting money in that's not on our back. Okay, with all the lighting, it's funny, I was on X and somebody was like saying, why is the city so dark? And and it's true, the city is horribly dark, and I'm glad that you're addressing all this lighting. I wish this had been done 2 years ago at the CPAD meeting at Northeast Division. They actually had a detective talking to everybody about the copper theft and all that, and what they're trying to do to help mitigate that in the future from a police standpoint. But it needs to be fixed, but I would say hopefully fixed in a way where they can't just keep stealing it. There has to be new technology, so maybe a little bit of a greater investment, because it's bad. Like, I have been stuck. There's times I'm going in a dark area and it shouldn't be dark and I can't, but I have to go there and I can't it's hard to get through. I had to put flashlights, I had to carry flashlights with me, and I shouldn't have to, and my phone flashlights, I shouldn't have to do that. It should be lit. And, Sorry, I know you don't realize people from all over the world they're interested in public works and city council now. You guys are becoming actually world famous. So, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go next to personality tests.
Sorry guys if I'm bouncing this.
Hello, good morning, my name is Personality Test. So for all the board members, whoever wants to take a personality test, feel free to reach out to me. Starting with item number 6 is about the Huntington Drive street lighting. So I touched on this item before, and then unfortunately I have to do that over and over again. There probably must be a reason why that the city wants to make it dark. Because after I get off the bus on Huntington Drive, the bus doesn't go directly door to door. I have approximately 1.5 miles walking distance until I get home. While I was walking without lighting, I witnessed some sexual intercourse activity as a. But can you make sure you stop the timer?
Yeah,
Because the
I will.
timer is still running.
If I did, it was unintentional, I promise.
But right now, I don't know the timer because that's 30 seconds already gone. I'm just confused about timer. But continue on item number 6 is that, alright, so it's dark. So after I get off the bus, while I was walking home to that 1.5 mile distance, I witnessed a lot of sexual intercourse activity. Is that legal? I really want to ask our city attorney. I witnessed some drug, solicitation, $50 white powder. I don't know. Is that legal? Let's ask our city attorney. But that's probably the reason why we want to make sure the streets are so dark, so we can hide all of the illegal activities. Now, let's move on to item number 11. It's about the bridge repair maintenance. So, bridge. I'm concerned about the 4th Street Bridge. I'm concerned about the 6th Street Bridge. Number 1, feces, urine, all over. Number 2, the bridge are constantly a target of street takeover. You can ask the LAPD for verification if you do not believe me. Number 3, street lighting. There are so many lightings that are out of service that currently we do not have enough personnel to go there and repair. Probably there are more than, 50 lighting requests, and probably the public work repair 10, 20 lighting per day. I have no idea, because the number of requests for repair is 10 times more than your capability of repairing on the street. And then that's not the only issue. The only issue is that the mayor are cutting your budget for the sanitation. The mayor are cutting your budget for the public work. The number of your personnel on the street are becoming less and less and less. So in the next fiscal year, the situation will become worse, even though I already informed you. Now let's move on to item number 13. It's about the edible food generator sign. I don't know how are you going to approve this, but in the future, the kids on the street, everybody have easy accessible to edible food. Everyone in the city council, children are going to have easy access to edible food. I don't know why that's a good thing.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Everyone did great.
Multiple agenda item comment for those in the room. We can go to the Zoom platform.
Now we're gonna catch.
President.